One of the news items in a national daily caught my attention. It was on Poonam Pandey. Poonam Pandey has become controversy's favorite child in the last decade. She has been accused and booked for many reasons, from hurting religious sentiments to objectionable video content and even obscenity. But hang on, I am not here to discuss about Poonam Pandey's controversies. Rather, I want to take it a bit further because as Poonam Pandey talks about her work as a form of erotica, not as porn. So I just want to take this opportunity and just try to make a difference between what is a porn and what is a erotic. Since the subject is related, as Poonam is mostly accused of promoting something which is discarded by society at large. But I think here we are wrong. I am no way trying to promote Poonam Pandey, nor I am here to condemn Poonam Pandey's work. But I just want to say that this is a land of Kamasutra, this is a land of Konark and Khajuraho. So how can we just ignore erotica? But quickly let me recap about Poonam Pandey. Her story is really interesting. It's a story almost like rags to riches. From a one-room apartment at Thane's Tilak Nagar area in Mumbai, she has shifted to a four-storied bungalow in Bandra, and her net worth in 2020 is estimated to be around 7 million or about 52 crores, almost equivalent to any Bollywood superstars, all in about 10 years' time. But what I liked about her is this self proclaimed Kamini of the family. In her own words, even as an irresponsible child, I am responsible for taking care of my family, and they love me for that. I think she deserves credit for this. Poonam started her career in Bollywood as a model and actress and came to limelight in 2011 when she pledged to do a full Monty for the Indian cricket team if they beat Pakistan in World Cup semi-finals. And since then on until today, she has been hitting the headlines for all sorts of wrong reasons again and again. What started as amateur video uploads on social media like my bathroom secrets and jingle boobs for Christmas gradually transformed into Poonam Pandey app, which today has a whopping 2.5 million followers. She claims, what I do is not porn, it is erotica. Now here comes the difficult part. Generally what happens, anything which is sexually explicit, we try to label it as a porn. But we have to understand the subtle difference between porn and erotica. Now I'll give you a simple example, I think by which you can really understand the difference between these two. It happened in France, and I have taken this from Said Mustafa Ali, who is a renowned scholar and writer.
Paris was flooded with artistic studios. Art and society were going through a major change. So, this artist painted a huge life size female nude figure and hanged it outside his studio gate. His intention was to gain more admirers and customers for his work. It was so huge that for the passers by, it was impossible to ignore. Soon it became talk of the town. Some admired, but most of them objected, saying it a vulgar display of art, porn type, so highly objectionable. Due to public outrage and peer pressure, the artist was arrested by police and the painting was confiscated. The matter was taken for court. On the day of trial, the courtroom was overcrowded with enthusiastic citizens to punish the painter, while the huge painting of a nude lady was hanging on the courtroom to be seen by all. Situation was tense. The judge asked the artist if he admits committing a crime of painting such an erotic canvas. The painter calmly said his nude study is not erotic, but he can make it erotic. Everybody was stunned. Such a huge nude painting itself is erotic. How could he possibly make it erotic? The painter asked for a paint and brush and he painted a pair of stockings on the nude lady which covered her legs and lower parts. The painter said, "Now this is erotic." And everybody in the courtroom looked at the painting and turned their eyes away. Yes, now they can't look at it in public. The painter said, "Previously it was completely naked, depiction of nature in pure form, but the moment I covered it, our curiosity and attention goes on to the stockings and we want to uncover it and see what lies beneath. That is what makes it erotic." And he was damn right.
When something is really open, then it is a porn. But the moment you put a veil on it, the moment you try to engage the audience in terms of creating some curiosity among them, curiosity in them, that becomes erotic. So we should not jump into the conclusion about porn and erotica easily. First, it's important to understand that porn is the opposite of true art. Whether it's a visual, auditory, or written, invites a person to think, to ponder, to wonder, or to consider something new, a different perspective perhaps. Art or communication doesn't have to be beautiful, but it should engage us into something that enlightens us. By the way, controversies like this are nothing new in India. Do you remember Raja Ravi Verma, the famous painter? It was said that Ravi Verma turned a concubine into a deity through his paintings, while the world turned the painter into a villain pimping nudity as art. He is perhaps one of the most widely known Indian painters, and while his nude paintings are the biggest pull factor, it is also a fact that he was a painter much ahead of his time who brought a shock factor to the Indian art scenario by taking risks that none was willing to take. So often what we see today, we try to judge it through our present perspective. But things changes. Like say for instance Kamasutra. Kamasutra is even today discussed in a hushed tone among people, and it is considered as a dirty book. Lot of you will be surprised to know that sex is just a small part of Kama Sutra. Despite being written centuries ago, Kama Sutra is surprisingly broad-minded and mainly deals with the art of living right. It contains passages related to women's liberation, education and sexual freedom. Bear in mind that Kama Sutra was written during the Vedic age. Even today, the thought of women exploring her sexuality independently is still very hard to grasp for the society. But Vatsayan wanted women to educate themselves with the facts explained in the book before they reach the prime of their youth. He insisted that women should study the book before she is married so that she knows how to manage her sex life and domestic life efficiently. I will wind up by mentioning Khajuraho and Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi found the sculptures in Khajuraho temples very disheartening and persuaded his supporters to wash and chip the temple walls clean of embarrassing and indecent portrayal of Indian culture. However, they were unsuccessful in committing such a blunder, and thankfully the temples stand tall gracefully till date. So I am not here to judge about Poonam Pandey whether she is right or wrong, but I just want to say that let's bifurcate these two. There is a difference between erotica and porn, and that we should understand.